Part 41. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 408. Aha! But just as Qin Hao broke out of the magic circle, an extremely destructive bright glow fell from the sky. That ray of light seemed gentle, but the moment it shone on Qin Hao, it immediately caused Qin Hao's flesh, bones, and even internal organs to explode. More importantly, that ray of light filled Qin Hao's body and could not be driven away, constantly causing incurable and devastating injuries. Even if Qin Hao mastered the holy method of healing, he could not catch up with the speed of destruction. This is the world-destroying skylight. After Qin Hao concentrated on sensing, there was a hint of horror in his eyes, and he finally recognized what the rays of light in his body were. The world-destroying skylight, as the name suggests, only one ray is enough to destroy an entire world. It is a super-destroying light that has been lost for a long time. And what about that destruction is not simply destruction, but the complete annihilation of its origin. Even the quasi-immortal emperor level cannot withstand the destructive power of the immortal destroying tribulation light. You don't really think you can get away easily, do you? There was a sneer on the face of the man in purple robe. Since he had set up such a killing situation, he naturally couldn't let Qin Hao escape easily. If Qin Hao stayed in this killing array, he might be able to live longer. For a period of time. But if he escapes, he will suffer more terrible murders. Death will only happen sooner or later. Hateful. Kill you. Seeing Qin Hao being shrouded in the world-destroying sky, Suan Wu and the shepherd boy became furious and took action with all their strength. Immediately, various violent laws exploded in the four-sided formation, and the world was shaken by it. Actually master the world-destroying skylight? What kind of existence is behind them? Qin Hao also became more and more anxious, with many thoughts flashing in his mind, thinking about ways to save his life. Buzzing. Seeing that the source of his body was about to be completely wiped out, Qin Hao's soul suddenly heard a slight trembling sound. After that, there is a seven-color fairy light, blooming from the center of Qin Hao's eyebrows, condensing a seven-color pagoda seal. It is the supreme treasure left by the immortal emperor, the nine-story immortal pagoda. Countless years have passed since Qin Hao set foot on the immortal king level. I didn't see the 9-level immortal tower. Something strange happened. In the past, the 9-level immortal tower would only react when he was exchanging treasures. Unexpectedly, this time, when he was suffering from the annihilating skylight, the 9-level immortal tower actually appeared. Wow! Chi chi chi! As the 9-story fairy tower bloomed with dazzling fairy light, the world-destroying skylight in Qin Hao's body was actually annihilated inch by inch. What happened? Even Qin Hao was a little unable to react to such changes. Even the quasi-immortal emperor was helpless. How could the world-destroying Tianguang be so easily crushed by the 9-story immortal tower? At this moment, Qin Hao suddenly realized that this 9-story fairy tower might be the most terrifying treasure. Thinking about it carefully, there are countless ancient treasures sealed in this 9-story fairy tower, so naturally they cannot be ordinary objects. Qin Hao used to just stare at the ancient treasures in the immortal tower, ignore the 9-story immortal tower itself. What happened? Seeing that Qin Hao, whose original vitality was gradually dissipating, actually became stronger in the blink of an eye, the purple-robed man couldn't help but be stunned. Suan Wu, the shepherd boy, and the four people in the main formation were also shocked. Because Qin Hao not only did Hao's injuries recover in the blink of an eye, but his aura became obviously stronger and stronger. This shows that Qin Hao not only eliminated the world-destroying skylight, but also gained some powerful power. The situation is indeed the same as Suan Wu and others as expected. The 9-story fairy tower not only appeared, but also gradually integrated with Qin Hao. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 409. In the past, although the 9-story immortal tower was hidden in the Sea of Souls, it was not integrated with Qin Hao. But now, the 9-story immortal tower is gradually integrating with Qin Hao. In addition to the soul, there is also a crystal clear 9-color fairy light in the 9-story fairy tower, which permeates Qin Hao's limbs and bones, and even his internal organs. This has also made Qin Hao's momentum become stronger rapidly, and has even reached the peak of quasi-immortal emperor. Too bad, this keeps going, the man in purple robe suddenly reacted and his expression changed greatly. Qin Hao's momentum is getting more and more terrifying. If this continues, won't Qin Hao be able to attack the immortal emperor? Leave them alone. When he thought about this, the purple-robed man shouted loudly, and was ready to attack the 4 people and deal with Qin Hao together. Stop them. The shepherd boy immediately understood the intention of the 5 men in purple robes, roared, and rushed towards them at the risk of his life. Suan Wu also let out a thundering roar, and even exploded with his own magical power, turning the world into a sea of death. Obviously, Qin Hao now, it has reached the most critical moment. Maybe it is a blessing in disguise, and it is impacting the immortal emperor realm. At this time, they naturally cannot let the purple-robed man and others go to stop Qin Hao. 9-day forbidden sealing technique. The man in purple robe roared angrily, sacrificed 9 ancient immortal weapons, and integrated them into the 4-party formation. After those 9 ancient immortal weapons were integrated into the 4-party formation, they evolved into an extremely terrifying enchantment. Even if they go berserk, Suan Wu and the shepherd boy were trapped for a while. That's it. Kill. In this moment, the man in purple robe attacked Qin Hao with unparalleled killing skills. He knew how terrifying an emperor was. You must know that the ultimate ancient land at the end of the world sea is just an emperor. The sleeping immortal emperor, even the quasi-immortal emperor who suppressed the entire world sea, could not hold his head up. If Qin Hao stepped onto the level of the immortal emperor, let alone them, the entire dark world sea would be destroyed. Rumble. Those 4 people also exploded with terrifying combat power at the level of quasi-immortal emperors. They evolved hundreds of millions of destruction stars and blasted towards Qin Hao, covering the sky and the sun. Destroy. At this moment, a dull low shout appeared. Immediately afterwards, an extremely terrifying force spread out. The 5 men in purple robes were annihilated in an instant when they used the destructive killing technique. This made the 5 men in purple robes were all stagnant in place, unable to believe it. The destruction and killing at the quasi-immortal emperor level was actually destroyed in an instant? What does this mean? Immortal emperor. Among the 4 people, someone appeared with a voice of uncontrollable fear. Only the true giant of the immortal emperor can achieve such a level, destroying the quasi-immortal emperor with just one glance. Qin Hao has become the immortal emperor? Not only those 4 people, but also the man in purple robe showed intense panic and even despair. A little worse. The disturbed Qin Hao murmured softly. As he spoke, Qin Hao's eyebrows had the aura of the immortal emperor permeating the air. Although there was the aura of the immortal emperor, Qin Hao had not really stepped into the level of the immortal emperor. To be precise, he after merging with the 9-story immortal pagoda, the Yuan Shen has transformed into an emperor soul. However, only the Yuan Shen has stepped into the immortal emperor level. The physical body is still a quasi-immortal emperor, and the immortal Dao principles have not yet officially entered the immortal emperor realm. But even so, the current Qin Hao is far from being comparable to the quasi-immortal emperor. Hit the road. Sensing that the 5 men in purple robes wanted to escape, Qin Hao spoke indifferently. As he spoke, a series of immortal magic orders condensed in the sky, sealing the 5 men in purple robes in an instant. Puff. After that, the blood light exploded, and as soon as they started, the 5 men in purple robes were all shattered by the immortal order and completely turned into blood mist. Their souls were completely scattered, and neither the physical body nor the soul remained at all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 410. Died. Qin Hao really became an emperor. Seeing the killing of 4 quasi-immortal emperors in one thought, the shepherd boy and Suan Wu were all shocked and stunned, and were incredibly excited. Once they become immortal emperors, this also means that they will be killed in the entire world. There will be no danger anymore. Boom. At this time, Qin Hao had already taken action and waved his hand to break the large formation in all directions. Suan Wu and the shepherd boy immediately rushed out and appeared in front of Qin Hao. No, I haven't become an immortal emperor yet. But it also has the aura of the immortal emperor. Could it be that there is still a realm between the quasi-immortal emperor and the immortal emperor? Suan Wu and the shepherd boy said while feeling Qin Hao's breath. To be precise, he is a half-step immortal emperor, but the Yuan Shen has stepped into the realm of the immortal emperor. Qin Hao did not hide anything and told the situation. While speaking, Qin Hao looked towards the depths of the boundary sea. After Yuan Shen set foot in the immortal emperor realm, Qin Hao clearly sensed the immortal emperor's aura from the depths of the boundary sea. However, it was different from the immortal emperor's aura that Qin Hao had seen before in the long river of time. The aura of the immortal emperor in the depths of the realm sea seemed quite chaotic, as if he was injured. If the Yuan Shen becomes an immortal emperor, can he easily kill the quasi-immortal emperor? Hearing Qin Hao's words, Suan Wu and shepherd boy were even more shocked. Only half-step of the immortal emperor has such unparalleled killing power. If it is a real immortal emperor, how terrifying should it be? Sure enough, the immortal emperor and quasi there is an insurmountable gap between the immortal emperors. By the way, Emperor Taixuan, after being excited, the shepherd boy and Suan Wu thought of Emperor Taixuan. The purpose of their coming here was to rescue Emperor Taixuan. It's no longer useful. Qin Hao waved his hand and directly shattered the entire branch hall. Since then, Emperor Taixuan has lost all his breath, and even the origin in his body has dissipated. Qin Hao is not surprised by this, because at the moment when the soul becomes emperor, he has already sensed. I am going to go to the end of the world sea, so you should not follow me from now on. After that, Qin Hao looked at the shepherd boy and Suan Wu. The news that his soul became the emperor will soon spread throughout the heavens and the realms. From now on, no one will dare to take action against the quasi-immortal emperor in the immortal realm. But the source of all troubles, but he must put an end to the aura of the immortal emperor at the end of the boundary sea. Otherwise, things like Emperor Taixuan will happen again, which he cannot tolerate. The end of the sea? I heard that there may be a real immortal emperor sleeping over there. Is there something wrong with you going to the boundary sea now? Hearing Qin Hao's words, Suan Wu and the shepherd boy were extremely worried. After all, Qin Hao has not really set foot in the immortal emperor realm yet, and is only a half-step immortal emperor. If he faced the real immortal emperor, there would probably be a big problem. Trouble. It doesn't matter whether you go early or late, this world can no longer break through the immortal emperor. Only by going to the end of the boundary sea can you break through and become the emperor. Qin Hao's move is not a hasty decision. On the contrary, the longer the time drags on, the more harmful it will be to him. Because the immortal emperor deep in the boundary sea is healing and his injuries are constantly recovering. If not now, if you go to get rid of it, then it will be impossible to kill it after it has completely recovered from its injuries. At this time, at the end of the boundary sea, there is a vast and boundless ancient land. This entire ancient land is filled with dark energy. It is so dense that if a quasi-immortal emperor breaks in, he will either die or not. But deep in that ancient land, on a pitch-black altar, there was a figure surrounded by darkness, whose appearance could not be seen, lying on his side. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 411. Tisk. Suddenly, the eyes of the dark figure lying on the altar suddenly opened, and the world changed color, and billions of laws exploded. In the immortal realm, has the emperor emerged? Wrong. This is not the true origin of the immortal emperor. In the eyes of the dark immortal emperor, there was the evolution of the original immortal emperor's law, and strange scenes appeared. Those weird pictures are exactly the figure of Qin Hao. Variable. After the dark immortal emperor muttered to himself, he ignored him. Even if Qin Hao is a variable and reaches the level of half-step immortal emperor for unknown reasons, it is impossible to break the shackles of heaven and earth and become an emperor in this environment. Because there is no immortal emperor material in this world, 02. If this were not the case, his injuries would not be able to recover after so many years. It just so happens that swallowing the essence of his soul should be able to recover from my injuries. After the dark immortal emperor muttered to himself, he closed his eyes and fell asleep again. As for what Qin Hao will do next, he is not worried at all. Even if Qin Hao wipes out all the dark creatures in the world sea, he will not be worried at all. He doesn't care. Anyway, as long as the origin of darkness exists, he will continue to create dark creatures. On the contrary, he hopes that Qin Hao can come here sooner. Only by swallowing Qin Hao's origin can he be able to completely break the world. Blockade. After destroying the dark ancient palace and finding the body of Emperor Taixuan, Qin separated from the shepherd boy and Suanwu and returned to the immortal realm alone. Qin Hao's return not only affected the immortal realm, but also the entire Wanyu realm. Shock. Because the soul of the immortal emperor emanating from Qin Hao's body can be felt by the entire world. Although the death of Emperor Taixuan has eclipsed many giants of the immortal kings in the immortal realm, but Qin Hao took half a step. The matter of the immortal emperor has made countless immortal king giants in the immortal realm happy. In this way, as long as no real immortal emperor comes, they don't have to worry even if there is darkness and turmoil in the world sea again. However, their thoughts, after Qin Hao said that he was going to the end of the boundary sea, it was shattered. Especially after Qin Hao said that at the end of the boundary sea, Shenmian, the real immortal emperor, wanted to deal with him personally. The immortal kings of the immortal realm were even more shocked. Once something happened to Qin Hao, their immortal domain would really lose their last guarantee. This incident with Emperor Taixuan made all the forces in the immortal domain clearly understand the existence of Jihai. Background. Several creatures as powerful as quasi-immortal emperors appeared directly this time. Who knows how many quasi-immortal emperors exist in the world sea? Qin Hao ignored the concerns of many immortal kings in the immortal domain. Because he had his own plan. After returning to Dei Holy Land and seeing his uncle and others, Qin Hao stepped onto the embankment and onto the boundary sea. 000. The boundary sea was still the same as before, with rolling waves. You could see there are countless ancient worlds in the universe that are arising and dying. Qin Hao gathered the aura of the immortal emperor's soul and walked alone in the sea of the world. Before going to the end of the sea of the world, Qin Hao still has something to do. That is the whereabouts of his master. He hasn't found it yet. With Qin Hao's current cultivation level, it is easy to find the dark ancient palace and even the creatures at the level of the quasi-immortal emperor. Therefore, Qin Hao went all the way to the end of the sea of the world, searching for those dark quasi-immortal emperors along the way. The immortal emperor annihilated all the creatures. Even if they were hiding in the small world of Sumeru or even the creatures that entered the long river of time, Qin Hao picked them out one by one. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 412. Suddenly, huge turmoil erupted in the boundless sea. Countless dark creatures were frightened, and gathered towards the end of the boundary sea. Because only the Dark Immortal Emperor sleeping at the end of the Boundary Sea could allow them to escape. Although Qin Hao is terrifying, he has not truly set foot in the Immortal Emperor realm. This means that even if Qin Hao is rampant in the Dark World Sea, he does not dare to go to the end of the World Sea. Although those dark creatures escaped, the souls imprisoned in the Dark Ancient Temple could not escape. After sitting in the Boundary Sea for hundreds of years and destroying countless Dark Ancient Temples, Qin Hao finally found the Dark Ancient Temple where his master was taken away in the past. But after so many years, his master's spiritual wisdom has completely dissipated. Qin Hao took action, separated his master's soul intact, and healed it with the origin of the Immortal Emperor. But even so, his master's spiritual intelligence did not recover immediately. Of course, although the speed is slow, Qin Hao estimates that it will take at most a few hundred years for his master's spiritual intelligence to be completely restored. Qin Hao was not in a hurry about this, and while using the origin of the Immortal Emperor to heal his master, he rushed back to the Immortal Realm. Hundreds of years later, Qin Hao took his master back to the Immortal Realm. Although it took nearly 1,000 years to go back and forth, to the creatures at the Immortal Emperor level, it was just the blink of an eye. In this little time, the Dark Immortal Emperor at the end of the Boundary Sea cannot recover much at all. After staying in the Immortal Realm for a while, Qin Hao left the Immortal Realm only after his master completely recovered his spiritual intelligence. But this time, Qin Hao did not go directly to the Boundary Sea. He went to the no man's land of the Immortal Domain, the Broken World. In the past, Qin Hao had seen 7 immortal emperors descending in the Xizang River here. Therefore, Qin Hao wanted to come here again to see if he could win over the 7 immortal emperors. If possible, Qin Hao would naturally truly set foot in the Immortal Emperor realm and then go to the end. But for more than 1,000 years, Qin Hao tried all kinds of methods, but still couldn't find the opportunity to become emperor. Therefore, if he could get the Immortal Emperor, then Qin Hao might be able to cross that crucial half-step and truly become the Immortal Emperor. Unfortunately, Qin Hao failed to meet the 7 immortal emperors as he wished this time. Even though Qin Hao triggered the long river of time, he never saw the 7 immortal emperors. According to Qin Hao's judgment, the 7 immortal emperors had already left the immortal realm. What Qin Hao saw in the past was just that they had stayed in this era before. Or can we only go to Jahe? Qin Hao murmured to himself, his eyes becoming determined. Anyway, there is a battle in the morning and evening, so there is no need to delay. If he continues to delay, the situation will only become more unfavorable to him. After coming out of the prehistoric world, Qin Hao didn't stay long and stepped directly into the Boundary Sea. Qin Hao did not take a detour this time, did not linger, and did not hesitate. He directly followed the waves of the Immortal Emperor in the Dark World Sea and headed towards the source of the World Sea. Of course, Qin Hao was not in a hurry. He walked towards the end of the Boundary Sea while adjusting his mentality at a slow and unhurried speed. In this way, after walking for hundreds of years, Qin Hao finally came to the end of the Boundary Sea and stepped into the ancient Dark Land. The ancient land is boundless, not even smaller than the immortal realm. The whole body is filled with the air of darkness, covering the sky and the sun, and not a single ray of light shines in. The dark creatures that gathered from all over the Boundary Sea, up to the quasi-immortal emperor, immortal king, and even the true immortal realm level, all changed their colors. The terrifying pressure of the immortal emperor realm, even if it was just the suppression of the immortal emperor's soul, still made them extremely frightened. The many dark quasi-immortal emperors who were suppressed and killed in the realm sea before are excellent examples. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 413. Is this guy really not afraid at all? Indeed, Even a half-step immortal emperor cannot fail to sense the existence of the emperor. This person, although he expected that there would be a battle sooner or later, he never expected that he would dare to come to the ancient land so soon. That's fine. When the emperor wakes up and suppresses him, we won't have to be afraid anymore. The immortal realm is too dangerous. After this turmoil, there will be no need for the immortal realm to exist, right? That's right, I originally thought that no more emperor would be born in the world, but I didn't expect that such changes would occur in the immortal realm. Those quasi-emperor level 000 dark creatures gathered together with solemn expressions, talking to each other. In the past, in order to enhance the combat power of the dark creatures, the fairy land was kept, but Poe launched a disaster. After all, among these dark creatures, most of them are the fallen and rebellious people in the immortal realm. But Qin Hao's appearance this time made them have endless killing intent. The immortal realm cannot be left any longer. After the immortal realm is destroyed, cultivate a few more forces similar to foreign lands are enough. Boom. When the creatures in the dark ancient lands sensed Qin Hao's overwhelming imperial power, two dark mysterious pupils, Acai, rose into the sky from the depths of the ancient land. Accompanied by yes, it is the billions of dark laws that are shaking, causing the expressions of all the creatures in the world to change wildly. This is the real power of the immortal emperor. Different from Qin Hao's half-step immortal emperor, the expressions of all the creatures in the world are changing wildly. Creatures in any corner can clearly feel the fear coming from the depths of their souls. It seems that as long as the other person has a thought, his body will be destroyed. Meet the emperor. On the dark ancient ground, all the dark creatures, including those dark quasi-immortals, knelt down respectfully, and their voices shook the heaven and earth. With the overwhelming darkness surging, a towering figure wearing a black robe strode out. This is a middle-aged man with a mysterious ancient curse on his face, but at first glance, he looks a bit ordinary. The enemies are coming, why are you gathering here? The dark immortal emperor glanced at the dark creatures kneeling neatly and spoke calmly. As soon as he said these words, the faces of those kneeling dark creatures, even those at the quasi-immortal emperor level, suddenly turned pale and they broke out in cold sweat. Emperor Lord, that person from the immortal realm has already become an emperor, equivalent to a half-step immortal emperor. We are really helpless, so we ask the Emperor Lord to take action. Those most ancient quasi-immortal emperor creatures turned pale and spoke. They were the first to betray the dark immortal emperor, but they knew very well how terrifying and powerful the dark immortal emperor was. Is there nothing you can do? If this is the case, then what use do you have? As soon as the dark immortal emperor finished speaking, a boundless imperial power swept across and exploded. With the dark immortal emperor as the center, all the dark creatures exploded and turned into billowing blood mist. In an instant, the creatures in the entire dark ancient land, it turned into boundless blood mist. After that, a deep and boundless vortex appeared with the dark immortal emperor as the center. The blood mist and dark energy that filled the entire dark ancient land all merged into the body of the dark immortal emperor. Yes. It was clearly felt that the aura of the dark immortal emperor had obviously increased significantly. Scatter the energy of darkness, use them as nourishment, and then absorb their origins when they come out of seclusion to restore their origins. An indifferent voice appeared. The dark immortal emperor was not surprised and raised his head slightly. A figure appeared in the void. This person was Qin Hao _ Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 414. You are quite confident that you didn't stop me. The dark immortal emperor looked at Qin Hao walking up in the air and smiled. Looking at that look, it seemed that in his eyes, there was no need to be afraid of Qin Hao who had become the emperor. This way we can catch them all in one go. Qin Hao also smiled. Sure enough, it was just the soul that became the emperor. It seems that those who left at the beginning left behind other things besides the cultivation system. After the Dark Immortal Emperor absorbed the last ray of blood mist, he looked Qin Hao up and down, as if he wanted to find out the secret of Qin Hao's Yuan Shen becoming emperor. It seems that you know a lot of secrets, how about we exchange them? Qin Hao narrowed his eyes slightly, remembering the 7 supreme immortal emperors he had seen in the long river of time. Listening to the tone of the Dark Immortal Emperor, he seemed to know why those 7 immortal emperors left the immortal realm. Oh, do you want to know the inside story? Give me your fairy soul and I will tell you. The Dark Immortal Emperor moved his body and spoke with a sneer. Obviously, in his eyes, Qin Hao, who only has the soul to become the immortal emperor, is not his opponent at all. It is not surprising that the Dark Immortal Emperor thinks so. Although he was seriously injured. But after these years of training and swallowing those dark creatures just now, his injuries have recovered a lot. With his true immortal emperor status, he has to deal with Qin Hao and a half. It is naturally easy to step on the immortal emperor. Since you don't want to say it, don't blame me. Qin Hao was not surprised when he saw this. He stepped out of the room, swept away billions of immortal laws, and suppressed the Dark Immortal Emperor. At this moment, endless visions appeared, such as several immortal emperors in the ancient immortal era, and such as including the long river of time from ancient to modern times. Those visions seem to be illusory, but they are actually manifested and extremely mysterious. This is a supreme way. It encompasses all heavens and all ways. Die! The Dark Immortal Emperor shouted angrily and punched out. The endless Dark Immortal Law condensed and turned into an endless whirlpool. In the whirlpool, a sea of darkness could be vaguely seen that was countless times larger than the world. It seemed that the darkness was the sea is the source of all darkness, emitting extremely pure laws of darkness. Boom! The two collided violently, and the world was violently shattered. Immediately afterwards, this ancient land was completely shattered. Even the boundary sea, there were huge waves. Countless dark creatures hiding in the sea of the world were affected by the destruction, and their souls were scattered. Even the fairy lands separated by the sea of the world suffered a huge impact, countless universes were shattered, and billions of people were destroyed. Lives were robbed. Has it finally begun? In the immortal realm, Kang Long Immortal King, Qin Immortal Lord and other ancient immortal king giants all have solemn expressions. This battle is a matter of life and death for the immortal realm. If Qin Hao were defeated, all creatures in the immortal realm and the entire 10,000 realms would be completely unable to escape. In Tao Yi Holy Land, Master Qin Hao, his uncle, as well as Qin Fengxiu, Qin Yi and other disciples also felt something, and could not hide the worried look on their faces. It's okay, Master can definitely suppress the darkness and be invincible forever. 000. Zhang Juxing spoke with strong confidence in his voice. Yao Baxian, Feng Wuxia and others also nodded heavily. From the beginning of the lower world, Qin Hao led them all the way up, even to the fairy land. He is also pushing everything, and no one can defeat him. Even the immortal emperor will definitely be filled with hatred when he meets their master. Boom! At this time, in the broken ultimate ancient land, Qin Hao and the Dark Immortal Emperor are having a fierce battle. Fighting. Although it was only the Yuan Shen who became the immortal emperor, Qin Hao's fighting power was only terrifying, but still extremely terrifying. Even if he withstood the killing skills of the Dark Immortal Emperor head-on, Qin Hao's body did not collapse. After all, Qin Hao the number of Hongmeng immortal bones in the body has reached more than 690. This is only a thin line away from the 5th level of Hongmeng immortal bones. If he can break through to the 6th level, Qin Hao may be able to defeat him with his physical body alone. 8th Immortal Emperor Realm. Fantasy. After thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 415. With such a physique, no wonder the half-step immortal emperor dared to come here alone. After fighting with Qin Hao for a long time, the Dark Immortal Emperor also realized that Qin Hao's body was extremely terrifying and could resist the Immortal Emperor's killing skills. To be honest, even the Dark Immortal Emperor could not resist such a terrifying physique. Extremely shocked. Because Qin Hao has not truly set foot in the realm of the Immortal Emperor, this means that Qin Hao has not been baptized and shaped by the Immortal Emperor's laws. But even so, Qin Hao's physical body did not collapse after enduring the unparalleled Emperor's surgery. This level of physique has exceeded the level of the half-step Immortal Emperor, and is infinitely close to the Immortal Emperor realm. This also makes the Dark Immortal Emperor extremely frightened, and even has a strong sense of fear. He feels that if this continues, not only could Qin Hao's spirit become an Immortal Emperor, but his body could also aspire to the realm of Immortal Emperor. This naturally frightened the Dark Immortal Emperor. You must know that when a quasi-immortal emperor is promoted to an immortal emperor, he usually uses his original Taoist method to break through to the level of immortal emperor. The realm of the immortal emperor. After that, the immortal emperor's Taoism fed back into the body, allowing the original body and body to transform. In the history of this universe, there has never been a precedent where the physical body first attained the immortal emperor's Taoism and then fed back the original Taoism. No, this kind of cultivation method. Suddenly, the face of the Dark Immortal Emperor who was fighting ferociously changed drastically. I thought of the ancient Taoism recorded in ancient rumors. In the prehistoric period when the world first opened, there was an extremely prosperous prehistoric system. In the prehistoric system, the way to achieve enlightenment and sanctification is through physical sanctification. But the prehistoric system has long since completely collapsed with the destruction of the way of heaven. How could Qin Hao know such ancient cultivation methods? Could it be that this is the inheritance left by the immortal emperors of the immortal realm in the past? Therefore, those giants in the Hunyuan ancient realm would not hesitate to bear the backlash from heaven and earth and forcefully come to this world. Boom. When the Dark Immortal Emperor was having all kinds of thoughts flying around, Qin Hao used the power of the 9-story Immortal Tower to blast out powerfully and violently. The world trembled violently. The Taoist teachings of billions of immortal emperors condensed a little, and then exploded. At this moment, even the long river of time was directly cut off, and time lost its flow speed. There was a loud bang. The Dark Immortal Emperor was directly thrown into the river of time along with the Taoist bombardment. Looking at the turbulent aura on his body, it was obvious that the blow just now made him feel uncomfortable. Of course, with the terrifying cultivation level of the Immortal Emperor realm, let alone this level of killing skills, even if it is dozens or even hundreds of times more powerful, it is impossible to be killed. After all, the realm of the Immortal Emperor has reached a point where it is difficult for the sky to bury him and the earth to destroy him. Even the passage of time cannot leave any trace on them. To a certain extent, this is a truly transcendent world, free from the cycle of life and death. The killing technique just now contained a power that did not belong to you. Sure enough, you were able to become the Immortal Emperor with the help of external forces. That should be the inherited immortal treasure left behind by the immortal emperors who left in the past. As the air of darkness filled the air, the Dark Immortal Emperor strode out into the air. The endless pressure of the Immortal Emperor spread out, causing the long river of time to stop flowing. Indistinctly, you can see the long river of time, the past and the future years. In the middle, there are vague shadows appearing. Those who can reveal their figures in the long river of time under the pressure of the Immortal Emperor are naturally Immortal Emperor-level giants. Obviously, this earth-shattering Immortal Emperor-level war will involve all the Immortal Emperor creatures in the past and future. Come in. However, no Immortal Emperor can break through the shackles of the long river of time and come. This makes those Immortal Emperors extremely uproar. In this situation, it is obvious that this battle between immortal emperors involves heaven-defying cause and effect. It is even very possible that, as recorded in ancient books, all eternity will be wiped out, and all living beings, things, and inheritance will cease to exist. In the true immortal emperor realm, even if the origin is injured, it is indeed difficult to kill. Qin Hao's eyes flickered, and he had a clear understanding of the strong men in the immortal emperor realm. To be honest, if it weren't for this dark immortal emperor, he was severely injured in the past and his origin has not been restored. Then Qin Hao is a half-step immortal. It is impossible to compete with the emperor's cultivation level. Even if there is a slight difference in the immortal emperor realm, the gap is extremely shocking, let alone half a realm. Die. At this time, the dark immortal emperor came out. He formed seals with his hands and cast various ancient treasures. Among them, there was a complete version of the 10 ancient treasures. In addition, he could actually simulate time. The Long River directly uses the willpower of the endless creatures in the Long River of Time to kill Qin Hao. Qin Hao does not dare to be careless at all, and merges with the 9-story fairy tower at all times, deriving billions of immortal skills to fight. The two are in the Long River of Time. In the middle, they were fighting crazily, with all kinds of magic flying in the sky. As the two were fighting, time passed quickly. 1 month, 3 months, half a year, 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, and so on. The shocking war lasted for thousands of years. During this period, Qin Hao faced death situations many times, but he survived them all. Moreover, during this confrontation, Qin Hao's understanding of the immortal emperor's Taoism reached a level of to an astonishing extent. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author, love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 416. There is terror between life and death. If you are not careful, you may die. But if you can survive it, you will be reborn in nirvana. Qin Hao is in this situation now. In these thousands of years, after repeatedly surviving the killings of the Dark Immortal Emperor. Whether it is his understanding of the Immortal Emperor's Taoism or the way of attacking and killing, it is becoming more and more astonishing. Of course, although his understanding of Taoism has improved by leaps and bounds. But it is still far away to prove the Tao Immortal Emperor through Taoism. Even Qin Hao still couldn't see the way to become an emperor. What's wrong? Qin Hao couldn't help but have such thoughts in his mind. He always felt that as long as there was a chance, he could step into the immortal emperor realm. But this chance was elusive and hard to find, and he couldn't catch it no matter what. If he continues, he may die here. Qin Hao knows very well. The reason why he is able to defeat the Dark Immortal Emperor is purely because of the 9-story immortal tower that is integrated with his soul. But the 9-story immortal tower only allows his soul to reach the level of the immortal emperor. This is the same as that the Dark Immortal Emperor who truly sets foot on the immortal emperor's path is completely different. Although he has been fighting with the Dark Immortal Emperor for thousands of years. Qin Hao knows that if he continues, he will die at the hands of the Dark Immortal Emperor sooner or later. So, no matter what, we must find that opportunity to attain enlightenment. With the combat power of a half-step immortal emperor, you are indeed very powerful for being able to sustain yourself for so long. But no matter how hard you struggle, it's all in vain. The great avenue of this world is incomplete, and it is impossible for another immortal emperor to be born. No matter how hard you understand the Taoism of the immortal emperor, it is impossible to become an emperor after all. As if aware of Qin Hao's thoughts, the Dark Immortal Emperor sneered. Although he was frightened by Qin Hao's physical strength, as long as Qin Hao did not become an emperor in the flesh, then he did not need to be afraid of Qin Hao. And these thousands of after years of killings, the Dark Immortal Emperor also figured out Qin Hao's combat power. As long as he blocked the power of the weird nine-color fairy light, Qin Hao didn't need to be afraid. At this moment, the Dark Immortal Emperor was lucky. Those immortal emperors in the past had shattered the great Dao. If not for this, with the understanding of monsters like Qin Hao, it would really be possible to break the shackles and realize the Dao. Of course, if the great Dao had not been incomplete, his original injuries would not have recovered to this day. If viewed from this perspective, the immortal emperors of the immortal realm in the past did indeed see far enough. Fortunately, those giants in the ancient Hunyuan realm stopped the immortal emperors of the immortal realm. Otherwise, even if he hid in the darkness in the ancestral land, there is no escape. So what if the avenue is incomplete? I can still achieve enlightenment against the odds. Qin Hadao's heart is resolute, and he has not been shaken by the thoughts in his heart or the words of the Dark Immortal Emperor. The way of cultivation is to break through 10,000 paths and live towards death. Every step is extremely difficult and dangerous. If it is against oneself, if you are not interested, then how can you talk about enlightenment? Don't overestimate your capabilities. The Dark Immortal Emperor sneered. Even if he sets foot on the Immortal Emperor, he cannot heal the original injury when the avenue is incomplete. He can only gradually recover by devouring dark creatures. Qin Hao is only half a step closer to the Immortal Emperor, but he also wants to break such shackles that cannot be broken. Die. The Dark Immortal Emperor moved his hand, and the long rivers of time manifested themselves, and evolved into magical chains, which were suppressed and blasted towards Qin Hao. Qin Hao immediately crushed the void and used the way of time and space to avoid those killing techniques. It's useless, you can't escape. The Dark Immortal Emperor had already predicted Qin Hao's reaction. Those long chains of time blocked the world and turned into an ancient cage that blocked the sky and the sun. There was a loud bang. Qin Hao hit the chain cage and was immediately severely injured. The energy and blood in the body exploded. There was even a crisp sound of bones breaking in the body, resounding throughout the body. Qin Hao suffered a devastating attack, and even the Hongmeng immortal bones in the body were shattered as a result. The Dark Immortal Emperor took advantage of the situation to kill. Various dark killing techniques were blasted out continuously, and even the long river of time was cut into countless sections. This made the immortal emperors in the past and future in the long river of time feel extremely horrified. If this immortal emperor war continues for thousands of years, I'm afraid everything may be completely shattered. Poof. Suddenly, Qin Hao, who was trapped in the chain cage, suffered destruction and killing again. An immortal emperor killing technique containing the origin of darkness powerfully bombarded Qin Hao. Blood spat out from Qin Hao's mouth, and his flesh and bones were covered with blood. The whole person became a bloody man. Although in an instant, Qin Hao immediately used secret methods to heal the injuries in his body and recover them instantly, the source of the injury was difficult to recover in a short time. After all, this is the level of the Immortal Emperor. It's not that easy to survive the killing technique when faced head-on. That's the end. The Dark Immortal Emperor was also a man who had experienced hundreds of battles, and he immediately grasped this flaw. As the mysterious chanting sounded, Qin Hao immediately felt that the whole world had turned dark, and he could not see his fingers. The 5 senses and 6 consciousnesses have been sealed. Qin Hao was startled, and immediately understood, and all the hairs on his body stood on his head. The current situation was extremely unfavorable to him. He was in the light, and the Dark Immortal Emperor was in the dark. It can be said that he was completely exposed to the darkness. In the eyes of the Immortal Emperor, coupled with being trapped in this chain cage, it was even more inevitable. Click. As expected. Just when Qin Hao was fully prepared, he felt severe pain in his abdomen. After that, blood exploded and bones shattered. On his body, a blood hole appeared, and blood flowed out. The extremely destructive Dark Immortal Emperor's Taoism was destroyed in his body. In an instant, Qin Hao's body was destroyed, and his vitality passed quickly. Even if Qin Hao's cultivation has Wushuan healing, the holy law cannot withstand the speed at which such vitality is destroyed. Poof! The bloody light exploded again. Qin Hao's arm was cut off, and the place where it was severed was surrounded by dark energy that could not be driven away. This also made Qin Hao's holy healing method useless at all, and the situation became increasingly worse. It's critical. Fantasy: after thousands of years of seclusion, I became a saint. Author: love to eat chicken legs. Chapter 417. Struggle in vain. Seeing that Qin Hao suffered devastating injuries, but he continued to heal with the holy method of healing. The Dark Immortal Emperor showed a cold smile. Judging from the current situation, Qin Hao has no chance of survival. Death is just sooner or later. As he spoke, the Dark Immortal Emperor's attacks became more and more ferocious, and all kinds of killing techniques were swept across wantonly. This also made Qin Hao's injuries even more terrifying and scary. Previously, he used the healing saint. The magic method can still barely restore some of its origin. But now, it is of no use at all. All the Hongmeng immortal bones in Qin Hao's body have been shattered. The origin of his physical body has reached the point of almost complete destruction. As time goes by, many mysterious immortal emperors who have manifested from the past and the future are in trouble. Looking at it, this war will end with the victory of the Dark Immortal Emperor. This is really a big deal for those immortal emperors. Not good news. After all, neither the past nor the future immortal emperor belongs to the Dark Camp. Judging from the cause and effect involved in this war, if the Dark Immortal Emperor wins, it will probably affect the ages. Seeing that Qin Hao was about to completely die at the hands of the Dark Immortal Emperor, hazy fairy lights shone out from the past years. There were 7 fairy lights in total. Each fairy light contained immortality. The Emperor's aura seems to be the arrival of 7 immortal emperors, dispelling the boundless darkness and illuminating the world. This is. The physical body had been completely shattered, and Qin Hao, who had only the Emperor's soul to resist with the help of the 9-story immortal tower, felt a familiar aura from the 7 rays of immortal light. No doubt. The light and shadow of the 7 immortal emperors who came from the past were exactly the 7 immortal emperors he had seen in the broken world. Did he sense that he was in danger and come to help? Sure enough, it left its imprint in the long river of time. The Dark Immortal Emperor noticed it instantly, but was not surprised. There was a cold smile on his face. As early as countless years ago, he had sensed the breath of the 7 immortal emperors in the long river of time. It was obvious that they were the 7 immortal emperors. The immortal emperor has left a backup force in the long river of time. Now it seems that their purpose is to help Qin Hao at this time. Whoosh! After appearing, the 7 immortal lights all appeared hazy. Immortal Shadow, kill towards the Dark Immortal Emperor. Looking at that appearance, it seems to buy time for Qin Hao, so that Qin Hao can complete the battlefield. Do you think that by leaving a mere mark, you can turn the situation around? When the Dark Immortal Emperor saw this, he sneered even more. At this juncture, how could he let Qin Hao go? No matter where Qin Hao fled, he would chase him until Qin Hao was completely dead. Boom! Think like this. With that, the Dark Immortal Emperor transformed his hands into seals, condensed the Immortal Emperor's immortal magic, and evolved 7 Dark Immortal Shadows, just in front of the 7 Immortal Emperors. As for the Dark Immortal Emperor's true form, he crossed the long river of time in one step and rushed to Qin dynasty. In front of Hao. Qin Hao didn't run away because he knew he couldn't escape, so he faced him directly. Heaven-killing technique. The Dark Immortal Emperor showed no mercy and used the most terrifying killing technique. A dark ray of light spread across the sky and the earth, seeming to split the entire universe into 2 halves. Everything in the sky and the earth passed by that dark ray of light. Were completely shattered, and everything ceased to exist. It was the darkest killing technique. In the past Immortal Emperor War, the Dark Immortal Emperor once severely injured an Immortal Emperor with this killing technique. It can be seen from this, such a heaven killing technique contains such world-destroying killing power. The Dark Immortal Emperor did not hesitate to use up his source to perform this move because he did not want to leave any possibility for Qin Hao to escape.